I want you to stop for a moment and think of your body as a house, your home, the only place you have to live every moment of your life. Now imagine that, somewhere in the basement of this house, hidden behind a wall, a small leak has begun. At first, it's just a patch of damp, cool to the touch, which you ignore. So small, you barely notice it. But day after day, drop by drop, this silent, invisible dampness begins to spread. It makes no noise. It doesn't attract attention. But it's there, corroding the wooden foundations, rusting the steel that supports your entire home. You don't see it, you don't hear it, but the structure that sustains your entire life, your security, is being weakened, little by little, from within. This is the most accurate, most brutally honest image of what high blood sugar does to your nerves and blood vessels. What if I told you that the greatest threat of a devastating complication like an amputation doesn't begin with a visible wound on your foot, but with that silent infiltration, that nutritional deficiency that leaves the foundations of your health completely exposed to danger? In this video, we won't just talk about controlling your blood sugar. That's what everyone says. We go much, much further. I'll reveal the 7 essential vitamins and nutrients that act as your body's silent guardians. They're the elite maintenance team that descends into your basement, finds the leak, and repairs it at the source before it can cause catastrophic damage. They protect your nerves, strengthen your vessels, and give your body a real chance to fight back against the ravages of diabetes. I urge you to stay with me until the end, because vitamin number 1 on our list is, in my opinion, based on decades of clinical practice, the most misunderstood and yet the most powerful in preventing diabetic neuropathy, the leading cause of amputations. Understanding the role of this nutrient can literally save not only your limbs, but the quality and dignity of your entire life. The truth that many patients are slow to understand, and that causes so much suffering, is that diabetes is not just a disease of high blood sugar. It is a condition of chronic oxidative stress and systemic inflammation. Think of your body as a world-class symphony orchestra. Insulin, or the medication you take, is like the conductor. It is essential. It gives the main commands, sets the rhythm. But what about the musicians? What about the violins that need to play the delicate notes, the cellos that add depth, the brass instruments that announce the moments of strength? Vitamins and minerals are the musicians. If they are absent, or if their instruments are broken and out of tune, the conductor can gesticulate with all the passion in the world, but the music that emerges will be chaotic and dissonant. There will be no harmony. In your body, this harmony is called health, vitality. Chaos is called complications, pain, fear. Often in our modern approach, we focus so much on the conductor, the glucose, the insulin, the medications, that we completely forget to tune the instruments, and that's when disease advances in the shadows. That's why a patient can look at their glucose meter and see a good number, yet still feel their feet burning at night, their vision blurring when reading, and a fatigue so profound it robs them of the joy of life. The conductor is doing their part, but the musicians aren't there to play the symphony of health. Today, we'll begin tuning this orchestra. Let's give each musician the instrument they need. Let's start with our 7th guardian. Our list begins with vitamin B7, better known as biotin. Many know it superficially as the beauty vitamin, something to strengthen hair and nails. But in the world of diabetes, its role is infinitely deeper and more serious. Biotin is a key piece in the energy metabolism puzzle. Think of it as a small, efficient logistics manager inside your cells. When a truckload of sugar, glucose, arrives at the warehouse, the cell, biotin is there with a clipboard in hand, ensuring that this cargo is unloaded and immediately sent to the production line to generate energy, instead of sitting in the yard, taking up space and causing confusion. Most importantly, studies show that biotin can improve insulin sensitivity. It helps clean the ears of your cells so they can better hear insulin's whisper instead of needing a shout. In a study published in the renowned journal Diabetes Technology and Therapeutics, patients who supplemented with biotin, along with chromium, showed a remarkable and statistically significant improvement in glycemic control. Where can it be found naturally? In foods like eggs, almonds, walnuts, and seeds. But here's the crucial detail. The amount needed for a therapeutic effect in diabetics to truly optimize their metabolism often far exceeds what we can obtain from a normal diet, no matter how healthy. This is a fundamental point to which we will return. Moving on to our sixth guardian, we find vitamin E. If high blood sugar is like a constant low-intensity fire inside your delicate blood vessels, vitamin E is the elite fire department. It's a fat-soluble antioxidant, meaning it dissolves in fat and is an absolute expert at protecting our cell membranes, which are made of fat. Oxidative damage, this cellular rust caused by glucose sparks, is what hardens arteries, making them brittle, and disintegrates nerve protection. Vitamin E tirelessly patrols the walls of your vessels and nerves like a sentinel, neutralizing free radicals, those dangerous sparks from the sugar bonfire, the moment they emerge. Imagine the walls of a new, flexible, and strong garden hose. Over time, the sun and weather leave them dry, cracked, and brittle. Vitamin E is like a conditioning treatment that keeps your blood flexible and resilient, ensuring that the blood flow, in this case your lifeblood, flows smoothly, without leaks or creating dangerous pressure points. It protects the structural integrity of your entire circulatory system, which is your first and most important line of defense against the devastating complications of diabetes. If this perspective of protecting your body from the inside out, of finally starting to tune your instruments instead of just blaming the conductor, is already resonating with you. If you feel a little click, a moment of, "Ah, that's why," as if someone is finally explaining the pieces that have always been missing from your puzzle, do yourself and this channel a favor. Hit the subscribe and like button. By doing so, you're not only helping us reach more people who are lost and desperately need to hear this message, but you're also signaling to yourself, to your subconscious, that you're taking a new level of control over your health. It's the first step in transforming information into real, lasting action. Continuing our journey to the heart of the matter, we come to the fifth guardian, an old acquaintance, but with a secret and vital superpower against diabetes: vitamin C. We all associate vitamin C with oranges and preventing colds, but its role in the diabetic body is extraordinarily more critical and urgent. People with diabetes have, as proven by numerous studies, lower levels of vitamin C circulating in the blood and, more importantly, within their cells. Why? It turns out that vitamin C and glucose have a very similar molecular structure. They are like two people with nearly identical keys trying to enter the same door. They compete to enter the cells using the same entry gate, the same transporters. When there is a sea of glucose outside the cell simply wins the competition by force of numbers. It's like trying to enter a stadium for a big concert when a gigantic crowd has already taken over all the turnstiles. Vitamin C is left outside, unable to do its job. And why is this so dangerous? First, vitamin C is the most important antioxidant in the aqueous phase of our body. It's the firefighter for blood, lymph, and the fluid between cells. Without it, the fire spreads. Second, and perhaps even more crucial for wound prevention, it's absolutely essential for collagen production. Collagen is the structural mortar, the steel and cement that holds our tissues together, including blood vessel walls, skin, tendons, and bones. Slow healing, a problem that terrifies every diabetic, is directly linked to an inability to produce quality collagen. Having enough vitamin C means faster, more efficient healing and stronger, more resilient blood vessels, less prone to rupture and damage. A study by Indian Journal of Medical Research showed that vitamin C supplementation significantly reduced fasting and post-meal glucose levels in patients with type 2 diabetes, showing that it also helps the conductor himself. I vividly remember a patient, let's call him Daniel, a strong man, a carpenter whose hands built houses, but who lived in constant fear of a single nail or splinter. Any small scratch on his foot or hand became a weeks-long saga of bandages, ointments, and all-consuming anxiety. He once said to me, his voice low, "Doctor, I feel like my body has forgotten how to heal itself. It's like it's given up on me." His blood sugar was fine, according to routine tests, but his body told a completely different story. We began intensive work to replenish the nutrients the disease was robbing him of, with a special focus on vitamin C and zinc, another crucial mineral for healing. Months later, he returned to the office with a smile I hadn't seen in years. He had scratched himself in the garden, a cut that would have previously left him panicking for weeks. "Doctor, in 3 days it was closed, a clean scab. I felt like my body was working for me again, not against me." This isn't magic, it's biology, pure and simple. It's giving your musicians the instruments they need to play the melody of healing. Our fourth guardian is perhaps less well known to the general public, but it's a true hero on the front lines of the fight against neuropathic pain. Alpha-lipoic acid, or ALA. ALA is unique, a true wonder of nature. Think of it as an elite secret agent with a free pass to all restricted areas of the body. It's both water and fat-soluble, meaning it can fight fire both in the watery interior of the cell and in the outer fatty membrane. It's the universal antioxidant, the only one that can go anywhere. Its most celebrated function in diabetes, and proven by dozens of rigorous clinical studies, especially in Germany, where it's a prescribed treatment covered by health insurance, is its remarkable ability to alleviate and even reverse the symptoms of diabetic neuropathy. That burning pins and needles, tingling or worse, numbness in your feet and hands. This is largely the result of massive oxidative damage to the nerves. ALA can penetrate these nerves and not only neutralize free radicals, but also help regenerate other antioxidants, such as vitamin C, vitamin E, and glutathione. It's the firefighter's manager, ensuring everyone has their water tanks full. Furthermore, ALA improves insulin sensitivity, helping cells capture and use glucose more efficiently. Imagine a factory worker exhausted and sluggish at the end of their shift. ALA is like an energy drink and strong coffee that revitalizes them, making them process the material, glucose, much faster, preventing it from accumulating dangerously on the conveyor belt. For those suffering from the daily and chronic pain of neuropathy, ALA is not just a supplement, it's a promise of relief, more restful nights, and regaining normal sensation in their feet. Now, I want you to stop for a moment and reflect with complete honesty. Have you ever felt that tingling, burning sensation in your feet or hands and simply ignored it, thinking it was fatigue, tight shoes, or getting older? Or perhaps your doctor, with the best intentions but overwhelmed, never explained to you the direct and intimate connection between what you eat, the nutrients you're lacking, and that terrible feeling. What's the most frustrating thing you've ever heard about managing your diabetes? Maybe it was that you just have to shut your mouth, or you just have to take your medication properly. Share your experience in the comments below. Reading each other's stories is therapeutic. It shows us that we're not alone in this journey and that the frustration you feel is real, valid, and shared by many. Let's get to our top 3. The third most crucial nutrient on our list isn't a vitamin, but a mineral so vital that its deficiency is practically a silent epidemic, especially among diabetics. I'm talking about magnesium. If your body is a large, complex factory, magnesium is the supervisor on the shop floor. It doesn't tighten the screws, but it ensures that the more than 300 robots, enzymes, that do the tightening are energized and function properly. Many of these enzymatic reactions are directly linked to blood sugar control and insulin action. Magnesium is what we call a cofactor. It's the key that turns on the ignition of hundreds of vital processes. One of the most important is the functioning of the insulin receptor, the glucose gate in cells. For insulin, the key, to open this gate and let sugar in, it needs the lock, the receptor, to be well lubricated and functioning. Magnesium is that lubricant. A magnesium deficiency is like having a chronically rusty lock. The key, insulin, tries hard, but the door doesn't open properly. The result? Sugar remains outside, accumulating dangerously in the blood. Insulin resistance worsens dramatically. Several large-scale studies, such as the famous Framingham Heart Study, have shown a direct and powerful link. The lower the magnesium intake, the higher the risk of developing type 2 diabetes. And for those who already have it, magnesium supplementation has been shown to significantly improve insulin sensitivity and glycemic control. Where do we find it? In dark leafy greens, pumpkin seeds, almonds. But again, modern agriculture has depleted the soil of its minerals, and processed foods remove what remains. Many diabetics, unknowingly, have been trying to run a complex factory with the supervisor on vacation for years. Here, as a physician, I feel a responsibility to take an important pause. The information I share is powerful, but it must be used wisely and responsibly. We're talking about potent nutrients that, in therapeutic doses, act almost like medications. Therefore, people with specific health conditions, especially chronic kidney disease, need to be extremely cautious when supplementing with minerals like magnesium and potassium. When the kidneys don't function properly, they lose the ability to filter and excrete excess minerals, and accumulation can be as problematic as deficiency. This is why guidance from a professional who knows your complete history is irreplaceable. My goal here is not, and never will be, to replace your doctor. My goal is to empower you with the knowledge to have richer, deeper, and more productive conversations with them, so that you can arrive at your next appointment and ask, "Doctor, we've never discussed this. What about my magnesium levels? Could we check them? I read that it can impact my insulin sensitivity." A true partnership in healthcare begins with an informed patient and a physician who listens. We come to our second guardian, the famous yet vastly underrated in the context of diabetes, vitamin D. Universally known as the sunshine vitamin, its reputation extends far, far beyond bone health. In the last 20 years, science has discovered something revolutionary. We have vitamin D receptors in nearly every cell in our body, including, crucially, the beta cells of the pancreas, the precious and delicate insulin factories. What does this mean in practice? It means that vitamin D acts as a master regulatory hormone. Robust research, such as that published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, show that adequate vitamin D levels are directly associated with better beta cell function and greater insulin sensitivity in peripheral tissues. Think of your pancreas as a sophisticated air traffic control tower. Vitamin D is the state-of-the-art communication system, the radar that ensures that planes, insulin, take off at the right time, in the right amount, and in the right direction to handle the cargo in glucose that arrives after a meal. When vitamin D levels are low, it's as if the control tower is operating with a crackling radio and radar from the 1940s. Communication fails. The pancreas can become confused, releasing insulin too late or too little, which directly contributes to uncontrolled blood sugar. Vitamin D deficiency is a global pandemic, affecting people of all ages and ethnicities, but it becomes even more critical when the body is already under the inflammatory stress of diabetes. Sun exposure is the best source, but for most people, depending on geography, skin tone, age, and lifestyle, supplementation becomes essential to achieve therapeutic levels that truly make a difference in disease control. Finally, we come to guardian number 1. The centerpiece, the nutrient whose deficiency can be the spark that ignites the devastating fire of diabetic neuropathy. I'm not talking about a single vitamin, but a cohesive, synergistic, and inseparable team, the B complex, with a clear focus on vitamin B1, thiamine, and vitamin B12, cobalamin. If I could make every diabetic patient deeply understand one thing about nutrition for the rest of their life, it would be this. Let's start with B1, thiamine. Thiamine is the unsung hero of glucose metabolism. When there's excess sugar, the body, in desperation, tries to process it through alternative metabolic pathways, and these pathways generate highly toxic byproducts called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. AGEs are literally what the name suggests. They age and harden your tissues. Think of a piece of soft white bread in the toaster. It turns brown, stiff, and brittle. This is glycation in action. AGEs do exactly that to your body's proteins, making your blood vessels as rigid as old pipes and damaging the protective lining of your nerves. Thiamine, especially in a more bioavailable and fat-soluble form called benfotiamine, acts like a smart traffic agent. It takes excess glucose and diverts it away from these dangerous pathways, preventing the formation of ages at the source. It's your body's anti-rust and anti-caramelization treatment. Then there's vitamin B12. B12 is, quite simply, the food for your nerves. It's essential for maintaining the myelin sheath, the fatty insulating covering that surrounds and protects nerve fibers. Think of a high-tech electrical cord. Myelin is that protective plastic covering. If you remove it, the cord is exposed, the electrical signal is lost, short circuits occur, and the device stops working. This is neuropathy. The burning, the numbness, the stabbing pain. It's the sound of your nerves short-circuiting, screaming for help. And here's the most critical and often tragically overlooked point in conventional medical practice. Metformin, the most common medication and often the first-line treatment for type 2 diabetes worldwide, is known and proven to deplete vitamin B12 levels in the body. Millions of people take a medication to control their blood sugar that, as a direct side effect, may be accelerating the destruction of their nerves by depleting the most essential nutrient that protects them. This isn't a criticism of metformin, which is a valuable life-saving medication. It's a scathing critique of a healthcare system that prescribes the drug without prescribing the nutritional antidote, leaving patients vulnerable. I remember Sophia, a passionate history teacher who arrived at my office in despair. The pain in her feet prevented her from standing to teach the classes she loved so much. But what frightened her most was the brain fog that was destroying her ability to concentrate and remember dates and facts. She had been taking metformin for over a decade. Her glucose levels were acceptable, but she felt she was falling apart inside. When we measured her B12 levels, they were dangerously low, rock bottom. We began intensive targeted replacement therapy, along with other B vitamins and magnesium. The transformation, over 6 months, was one of those that motivates me to do what I do. The pain subsided to the point where she could wear her favorite shoes again for long walks. Her mental clarity returned with a vengeance. She told me, with tears in her eyes, "I didn't realize I was living life through a cloudy, dirty glass until it finally cleared." Sophia's story is the story of thousands, perhaps millions, of diabetics who suffer unnecessarily from nutritional deficiencies that are perfectly correctable. So we recap. Biotin for energy metabolism, vitamin E as the antioxidant firefighter, vitamin C for blood vessels and healing, alpha-lipoic acid for neuropathic pain, magnesium as the general overseer, vitamin D for pancreatic function, and the powerful B complex to protect and nourish the nerves. Phew, that's a lot of information. And you, an intelligent person genuinely committed to your health, are probably thinking, "Doctor, this is all fantastic. It makes perfect sense. But how do I apply this safely and effectively? Do I need to buy 7 or 8 bottles of different supplements? How do I know what dosage is right for me? How do I ensure they're good quality, that I'm not buying sugar-coated sugar, and that my body will actually absorb them? It seems complicated, expensive, and I'm terrified of making a mistake and perhaps even making things worse." If you're thinking this, you're absolutely right. This concern is legitimate and intelligent. Trying to piece together this complex puzzle alone is the biggest hurdle for most people. It's the vast, frustrating gap between knowledge and results. This is precisely where my responsibility as your guide becomes even greater. It's not enough to simply point out the problem or the fragmented solutions. You need to offer a clear, safe, and logical path. Over the years, I've seen my patients try to navigate this journey alone, spending money on low-quality products, using the wrong doses, and becoming frustrated with their lack of results. Therefore, I've established some non-negotiable principles for what I consider an ideal nutritional solution for a diabetic. First, synergy. Nutrients must work together, like a finely tuned orchestra. Vitamin E needs C to be regenerated. Magnesium is necessary for vitamin D to function. They can't be in separate containers and taken at random times. Second, bioavailability. The nutrient forms must be those that the body recognizes and absorbs easily. For example, using the active form of B12, methylcobalamin, instead of synthetic cyanocobalamin, or benfotiamine instead of regular thiamine. Third, therapeutic dosing. Amounts must be clinically relevant to make a difference in a body under the stress of diabetes, not just minimal doses to avoid classic deficiency diseases. Based on these rigorous principles, I did the research for you. I analyzed formulas, studied combinations, and sought a solution that aligned the latest science with real-world convenience. The link you'll find in the description of this video and also pinned in the first comment is my personal recommendation. It's a resource I trust, which encapsulates this philosophy of integrated and intelligent support. Think of it not as buying a product, but as a safe and reliable shortcut that saves you the hassle, confusion, and risk of making costly mistakes on your health journey. Click there after we're done here, explore, read, and see if it makes sense for your next step. Remember, the ultimate goal isn't just normalizing a number on your glucose meter, it's restoring your body's vitality and resilience. It's waking up in the morning feeling genuinely energized, not exhausted. It's being able to walk barefoot on grass or sand and feel the ground without fear. It's having the mental clarity to be present and engaged with the people you love. The vitamins and nutrients we discussed today aren't a magic cure, but they are the fundamental tools, the building blocks your body craves to have a fighting chance and rebuild itself. They are the diligent workers repairing the foundations of your house day and night. By providing them with what they need, you stop simply managing disease and start actively building health. You shift from defensive to offensive. Your journey to regain control and protect your future is real, and it's paved with knowledge and consistent action. You've taken a huge step today simply by watching this video to the end and absorbing this information. If this message brought you clarity, ignited a spark of hope, and gave you a concrete action plan, please subscribe to the channel so we don't lose touch and you continue receiving content that empowers and protects you, and most importantly, share this video. Think of someone, perhaps a friend, a family member, a coworker, who you know is silently struggling with this condition. You may not know the depth of their fear or frustration. By sending this video, you're not just sharing information, you're offering hope, understanding, and a path forward. You can be the catalyst for transformation in someone's life. Thank you for allowing me to be your guide today. Take care of yourself, and remember, you have far more power over your health than you ever imagined. Until our next meeting.